Keep Right with Ralph K. Ginorio. Invaders and enablers. Americans, we are invaded. Outlanders with no interest in assimilating to our melting pot society have been encouraged to cross our borders by Quislings and Fifth Columnists within the Democratic Party. Many times the total population of Idaho have illegally invaded our homeland. Such a Volkswanderung always transforms the host nation and never for the better. Diversity is our strength, say the apologists and enablers of invasion. Critics of their open border policy are called racist. Culture, not race, is at stake. Every culture is a group of people bound together by certain definitive core beliefs. These shared convictions, like the common American belief in freedom, are what cohere countless individuals into a society. These fundamental values are what make us, us. While a certain diversity can be healthy, untrammeled diversity shreds the fabric of society. An immigrant nation, the United States attracted the most highly motivated people from around the world. Their enterprise and industry sparked the American century. Our ancestors who arrived before the 1990s came here legally as individuals. They earned a place in this land of opportunity, brought their families, and raised Americanized children. These immigrants loved America, where they and their progeny would be defined by their work and choices and not by who their father was. Industrial America needed their labor. To survive, they eagerly embraced the English language, American folkways, and modernity. Even when they lived in ethnic ghettos, they had to work in the wider American world. They eagerly pursued their own acculturation. Today's invaders bear no resemblance to any of this. They come to a post-industrial land without opportunities for unskilled peasants. They come in violation of our laws, carried here by smuggling organizations of drug lords. They come in large groups, settling together where directed by criminals, leftist politicians, or social service agencies. In 1990s Maine, Catholic Charities settled hundreds of Somali families en masse, transforming entire neighborhoods in multiple cities. These refugees were immediately put on welfare and were told by activists to cry racism whenever they were thwarted. Because they were on the dole, these Somalis had no need to learn English, nor to assimilate. Today, there are still self-imposed ghettos of insular Somalis who have no intention of ever integrating themselves into the American mainstream. The Romans faced this sort of change in immigration. Through the end of the 3rd century AD, individual Goths and Germans entered Roman society. They learned Latin, adapted to Roman society, and strengthened the legion's auxiliary formations. Some even earned the highly coveted Roman citizenship. A weakened imperium in the 4th and 5th centuries AD began to accept whole tribes of Goths and Germans into imperial lands. Living according to their own customs under their own chief, these foederati joined Rome's defenses as militarily and culturally distinct allies, not as Romans. The Western Roman Empire was ultimately consumed by these allies, divided into new kingdoms. The barbarians never even came close to matching Roman numbers. Their zeal to overthrow their host society brought them victory over the complacent Romans. This is what awaits us, unless we citizens step up and prevent it. In the United States, traditional mainstream Americans will become oppressed and marginalized. A recognizable United States will have been fundamentally transformed, just as Barack Obama once promised. Since World War II, Europe has undergone a similar transformations. Its cities are now unrecognizable. A generation hence, the Islamic Middle East will have successfully colonized and subjugated Europe. We risk becoming South Africa. Their racial divisions and painful histories have been used by unscrupulous politicians to unmake any trace of Western civilization on the African continent. We are not the world. We owe absolutely nothing to invaders who would displace and replace us. Without exception, every single illegal alien should be deported back to their point of origin. Our borders need fortification, and our immigration laws should be changed. We should restrict future immigration. Only skilled professionals from around the world should be encouraged to become Americans and add their talents to our own. We citizens must invoke the full power of our Constitution to repel these invaders and unseat their enablers. If we don't, then today's invaders will inevitably become tomorrow's conquerors and tomorrow's rulers.